So hey everybody, I am going to make some really fun little Halloween embellishments is the best way to describe it. Something that I can play with, and I think I'm going to put these on little clips, and I'm not really sure what they're going to go with yet, but I just want to create is the bottom line. I love all these cute little cutters. We have a bat, we have a ghost, we have a cat, and we have a pumpkin, and it was part of a set with some other ones, but these were my favorites. So what we're going to do is we're going to make some somewhat three-dimensional, kind of flat, kind of three-dimensional little objects, and we're going to play and add some dimension to them. We're going to do our pumpkins, obviously, in our big bright pumpkin yellow or peach orange, that's the word, orange color. So here I have some of the Makin's clay. Again, this is an air-dry clay. And the reason why I have it set in a paper towel and I have a water bottle nearby is because it can dry out, so you want to spray it so it doesn't. I think I'm going to do a couple of each. So I'm going to take a section. Actually, I'm just going to roll this whole thing out. And I'm going to roll out my clay. And I'm just going to take you through the first one, and then the other ones I'm going to speed up because they're all going to be about the same scenario. I don't want to go too thin with my clay because I do want this to have a little bit of dimension. And so then I'm going to take my pumpkin and I'm going to cut it out. And notice it's not super thin. It does have a little bit of a thickness to it, and I like that. I like that it has a little more oomph to it. Carefully pull it out. Let's see if we can get 3 out of this guy. There's not that much clay left in this anyway, so let's see if we can eke out a 3rd. Yep. And there we go. Now I can definitely ball this up and save this. There is nothing wrong with this clay at this point. I still have a little plastic wrap, so I'm going to wrap this back up as best as I can. And then I keep all my clay wrapped up still in a paper towel, and I have a Ziploc baggie. So I'm going to spray again and put that off to the side and kind of spray down the towel too so it stays nice and moist. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is I just got this new little nifty box from Makin's Clay. And it's a whole series of just professional tools. And so you have all these really cool tips, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a tip in here that is going to give me lines in my pumpkin. I'm going to go with this guy. So this just looks kind of like a needle tip point, and all you do, and look, both ends, it does not matter, screw it in. So you can actually have 2 different tools going on in here at the same time. And I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to start etching in some lines. Kind of grooving it in, making my pumpkin lines, and you have to do this before it sets down and dries. You can't wait too long to do this. And we're going to come in and do something fun into these ridges later on, but I gotta let it dry first before we do that. And then we're going to do another one. A little better at it as I go. And then I'm going to add another one. I'm kind of making a line and then I'm going back over it. I'm kind of just drawing into the clay, giving my clay a little, and then kind of going in on the end. So now you're getting a little kind of a picture about what I'm doing here. Kind of made a flub there. As I get better at this, it'll go easier. I wasn't drawing like, now I've got it down. Now it's going. Get a more draw on the clay than you do kind of push into it. Let your hand do all the work. I think we're going to try and do one more. There, and now we got some little ridges on our pumpkin. Pretty cool. I know this one is not super, but it's getting there. Alright, so I'm going to continue doing that for these guys, making some ridges in my pumpkins. And there we go. Some cute little pumpkins. Now, I purposely added some little extra texture on these because you know what? Pumpkins aren't always smooth. I like the fact that they're adding a little bit of fun kind of textureness to them, so that's kind of fun. All right, so now we're going to move on to the cat and the bat, and those are going to be in black, you know, because you have to have a black cat and a black bat. I know cats come in other colors, but I'm going to let these guys air dry. We are going to do some more treatment to these after they have dried, but I do want to give them some time to do that before I mess with them. So same as before, and I'm going to speed this up. I'm just going to pull this out, roll it up. You know, 2 to 3 per one is fine. I'm going to do a couple of treatments to the bats, adding some, kind of like I did with the pumpkin, adding some texture into the wings, and the cat, you know, adding in also where the eyes are going to go, just kind of playing with giving them a little bit of life. So as you can see, I just went through and did a whole bunch of little things. So I made the eyes, I made the mouth. The pumpkins, we're going to do something different. We're going to paint in these. But for all these guys, I just used the opposite colors, the black on the white and the white on the black, to make it pop. All of these little strings here are all the whiskers and the fangs. So that's what that mess is. There's lots of little pieces here. It's because it's the mouth and the fang, and then all the little balls are the eyes, the nose. So it's just a matter of fitting them in the little holes. And then these ones were easy, they're balls. So at this stage, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of my Makin mixed media glue and go in and add a very, very tiny amount to each of the holes. I just want to have enough to make it stick, because some of the clay is already starting to dry, and I do want to make sure that they don't pop out. So just a micro drop of glue in each of the little holes. Just a smidgen. So I'm just going to add some glue, and I might do it to each of the individual pieces just to make sure that it's in there, and then kind of press it in. And then because this clay is still a little bit damp, I can kind of mold it in there as well. So they're not done, but they're getting there. So we still got some finishing touches to do on each of the layers. So we got to add, you know, the pupils for the eyes and kind of give him an expression and add some shading in for the bat, but we're getting there. And then the pumpkin, we obviously need to add in some of the shading for that. But at this point, I want to let them dry, let the glue dry, and let them kind of harden up before we start adding any paint into these. So I've let all my little guys dry, and as you can tell, I sliced my finger. I was trying to find my brush, and in the process of that, I nicked my finger on one of my cutting blades and got it, but good. So had to take a little bit of a break for a while. In the meantime, these guys have been drying for probably 24 to 28 hours. And in that time frame, one of my black bats has flown the coop. It's up and flitted away. I have searched for it. I think one of my kids may have gotten a hold of it and out it went. In the meantime, what we have done is we've done 2 kitties, 1 bat, because the other one's gone, 2 ghosts, and 3 pumpkins. And I also pulled out some clips. So these are some clips from Canvas Core, and what we're going to do is we're going to create little cute clips that we can attach these guys to, just like this. And then now you can attach them to a number of different things. You can put this on the side of a bag as a little treat bag. So if you're giving away some cute candies, you can put this on the top, and it's just a little fun embellishment that can be added to all kinds of stuff. You can put this on a scrapbook page, a card. That really the uses of putting them on a large clip and having a nice large item like this are kind of endless. I picked black because it's Halloween. Things are kind of black. All right, I'm switching gears. I did this, and I know you didn't see this on camera, but I had added some of the high paint, and it's just not doing it for me. So instead, I'm grabbing a candy corn, which is a kind of a bright orange Tattle Angels Glimmer Mist, and just using my wand, going in, and I know I just did it to this guy, just adding some definition and texture into the grooves. I'm going to wipe a lot of it off. Just kind of getting some contrasting color. Now go in and kind of wiping it around and then blotting it off. And see how it's kind of picking in some of the dark colors, and then it just kind of brightened the whole thing up. So I'm going to do that for these other 2 and speed it up. So as you just saw, I went through and I took some black paper from Canvas Core, and this is just black on craft, and I just cut out some fun shapes. And I would do this with clay, but with my finger, I just don't think I have the capabilities at this moment. It's pretty tender and sore, so I'm kind of going with bare bones. I was debating doing the stem in green, but I'm really kind of liking the all orange on this. So I'm just going to leave it alone and just be done with it on that. I like the shading on that, so I'm very good and happy with that. And all I'm going to do now is get some black paint and put some eyeballs on. So here's just the black version of the same paint. I'm going to use the same small brush, really clean it off well, get it nice and clean. And I'm going to take the smallest little dot to place in here and give our little animals some expression. It's so funny, if you have them looking straight at you, it almost looks like they're kind of scared or freaked out. And I know the cat's supposed to look scared, but when you offset the eyes and you have them look to the corner or up in the ceiling or just off to the side like I've done here, it really does make a difference. I am wrong. I am going to go ahead and add some eyes. So I'm going to get some white paint out and add little eyeballs to my ghosts. And for this, I'm using an acrylic white, a very, very stark white, because I want it to show up. I don't want a metallic look, and I need a pure white color. There we go. Just some little kind of expression to your ghosts and stuff. The white that I used is from DecoArt, and this is their Americana line, and this is titanium white. It's a very, very bright white, which is what I need when I'm going against a black to make sure it really pops out of there. So to glue on, and I did pull this out because when these are all done, I am going to spray them to make sure they get sealed and kind of set in, especially because I've added some paint and to kind of also help secure in some of the other things that I've got going. I'm going to use a mixed media glue to hold everything together because this glue is made specifically for gluing odd objects together. And so I'm going to move these guys out of the way. And all I'm going to do now is take my glue and add some and then apply my little faces to my jack-o'-lantern. So right now I'm just pulling out this quick stick from We Are Memory Keepers, and it's just a sticky thing that can help pick up and place small little objects. And with my finger on my right hand being a little bit out of commission, this is kind of my ideal thing at this moment. So it just gives me a little more placement capability, deciding how I want to put this on. And I can kind of move it around still. You can use the back side to kind of help secure it in. So this is a really good tool also for anybody who has problems with arthritis and really can't grasp small things. It kind of takes that hard, the grasping ability, makes it easier for you. I also went through and did some fun shapes. I didn't just do the typical jack-o'-lantern with the goofy eye. I added an O and I used a punch for the O. I did a kind of a goofy smile and kind of a crooked smile. So when you're making your jack-o'-lanterns, they don't have to be perfect. You know, the more imperfect, because think about it, when you're cutting them, the better they're going to be. Oops, I'm trying to put the glue in the wrong hole. That's smart. I'm going to go ahead and glue up all of them and speed this along. Alright, so at this point I'm going to take all these outside and go spray them. I always make sure that I do my spraying outside because it is an aerosol and you don't want to be inhaling that and getting that all in your room. So that's why you're never going to see me spraying inside on my camera. I'm going to let these sit for a minute on here so I don't get my mat kind of gross. Alright, they only take a couple of minutes to kind of dry. It doesn't take too terribly long. And it does kind of give them a little bit of a sheen on them. And then I just put them on cardboard, go out and spray them, and then throw this away. So nice to keep some old cardboard boxes, handy for that. And it also just kind of solidifies and makes sure that everything is just really kind of on there. Last step is to go ahead and start gluing them to our little clips. So I'm going to go through the first one with you and then speed up the rest. Just add a little bit of glue. Take your little object here, and you want to kind of place it so that it's not sticking too far. I know this is kind of sliding. You want to place it about right here so that the top of it is on your clip, and then just place the clip so it's facing upward down and give it time to dry. And there we go. Got to give them a little bit of time to dry so they can get done. And then again, you can use these little clips for a multitude of things. So thanks for stopping by and letting me play with some clay and some paper and some paint and some glue and making some really cute, fun Halloween clips. Thanks so much. Please subscribe. Bye-bye.